that to me, for the consequence of this place, that alone, even before I say anything, is something that you must thank who? God. You thank who? God. For giving you a leader that will sit down with you, humble himself. Huyu ni mheshimiwa, he should be in parliament, can even be in Serena today, he can fly to Mombasa to go and attend to urgent matters of the state, but he has decided to take this day to invite various partners to talk about education in his constituency and to mentor. He's asking you questions. He has seen it all. He has told you that he used to sell vegetables, isn't it, and fruits. We have all gone through this, and the only thing that will change that situation is education. And that's why I'm so happy today, as an educationist myself, who is in the publishing industry for many years. We've been in publishing, East African Education Publishers, to now meet a leader who talks about education and the future of their people. I want to compare Mheshimiwa to when I read so many books of history, where I come from. And you know where I come from, they are known for one thing, isn't it? Tunakula samaki, sasa watu wanasema samaki na kupatia nini? Akili mingi. It is not fish. I want to say today, it is not fish that makes you clever or have a brain. There used to be a former chief, and maybe Mheshimiwa will relate to this. In that part of Nyanza called the game, the area in this country that has the highest number of professors in this country, and you can challenge that research. And today, even the Cabinet Secretary for Education, Professor Magoha, comes from that same village in Game. And because we have published a book about we didn't publish because it's the CS. This we published many years back. A gift which I brought to the honorable member called Tower of Transformational Leadership. Professor Magoha, in their home alone, they have 3 professors in one home. Can you clap for that family? This book I'm giving to Mheshimiwa. I'm giving this to Mheshimiwa so that he can read about Professor Magoha, who is now the leader in the education ministry. This book we published in 2016. But there used to be a chief in that village called Odera Kango. Odera Kango did what Mheshimiwa is doing today. And he did it in a much better way, because Mheshimiwa is asking you very polite questions. He is telling you whether do you have a boyfriend, do you use protection, because he doesn't want you to die young. For us to reach the age where we have reached, for Mheshimiwa to reach the age where he has reached, he has held morality, and that's why he's telling you to be careful, because we are young people and we don't want you to perish. But Odera Kango used to whip people. He used to kill people to go to school in the Game village. He used to go to each and every home, collecting cows, collecting property, and putting it together, auctioning, and paying school fees for bright and needy students. So the seed that he planted is the main reason why today in the Game constituency, we have the highest number of professors. We have boys, ladies and gentlemen, who can come in a village in the Game and connect electricity to the whole village. Can you clap for Odera Kango? Because we empower these people. Today you can go to Game. The roads you see there in Yala and those areas are not done by the government. Some of them have not been done by the MP of that area. But people like you, young people like you, whose parents were empowered in generations ago and have been empowered through education, can now come back home and say, we are building this road courtesy of so-and-so, who is married to a Mzungu in the USA, in Australia, and Mzungu amekubali kula. So when Mheshimiwa asks you whether you have a boyfriend, and some of you are looking bewildered, he's asking, what is your boyfriend doing? You feel that, why is he asking me? It's because he wants you to get married to serious boyfriends. Not you want to piga want to get a pande kawangware. You want the ability to get married to serious people. But the education that is given you today, don't take it for granted. Some of us will come back to tell our own story. How we dropped out of school, even though leaders were there, for many years. How we came to Katwekera here in Kibera, to do Mjengo, to collect school fees for 3 years, go back to high school, go to university, look for a job. I'm happy that alikuwa naambia mama sitembee na mtoto. Mtoto akishafika 18 years or an adult, you need to start taking direction of your own life. So we had leaders then, but tuliwacha shule miaka ngapi? Mimi mwenyewe 3 good years. How many of you have left school here for 3 years? How many of you have chewed sugarcane for dinner for 2 weeks? Education is the only equalizer of people. Education is the only equalizer of people. Through education, I almost married the daughter of a minister. because we were now in the university, tunakaa pamoja tunadiscuss. Tukimaliza decision pia ni aje bwana. Don't mind. I almost married the daughter of Honorable Peter Njeru Wait. Through education. I'm giving this example because through education, you will be able to sit with the son of a minister. You will be able to sit in the same environment with the daughter of the president. Na mkishajipata tuko kwa laboratory ama kwa library, si mtaongea mambo yenu. Through education will be equal. The daughter of a peasant, the son of a minister, the son of the president will all be equal if they get quality education. As publishers, as I conclude, Mheshimiwa, we have heard what you are doing. Don't think that we are not getting it. We have heard how many constituencies are in this Nairobi. There are so many. But when we decided to partner, to seek for partnership as publishers, I told Catherine, tumeangalia sana, tafadhali kimbia kwanza Dagoretti North. Kimbia usimpige mheshimiwa makofi. We are doing our research and we are hearing. We know that every Friday Mheshimiwa sits with these people in a public forum like this. We know that every Friday he listens to all manner of things and he doesn't just keep quiet, he takes action. So when my CEO, Mr. Kayare Kamau, told me, try to look for some partners where we can even donate books. Then I said, Nairobi ni kubwa. Unajua Nairobi sometimes ni kubwa na shida hata government manage. Kama maji saa zingine inapotea steam. It is a big, it's a complicated county. So I decided to come to Dagoretti North because we have heard and we know and we can see what Mheshimiwa Simbarati is doing. Mimi ni mgeni, I'm not talking because I'm even a voter here. I've told them I come from Uriri. Mheshimiwa Mark Nyameta is my MP. And when you go back, you can pass my regards. And he will tell you what we did with him in Uriri constituency. We donated a whole canter of books to primary schools in that constituency before he even became MP. So today when we come here today like what we have done, it is because your leader is showing the way. Now he has given you money to go and pay school fees. You will find some of you just loitering in the university colleges. The only thank you that will give us, and we'll be very happy including Mheshimiwa, every time you close school, come with your transcript and show Mheshimiwa, asante, the money you paid for me, here is my grade. I'm faring on well. I have a challenge here and here and here. And Mheshimiwa, later, we will work together with you, and I know you'll champion this, to form a revolving fund. These guys are a resource. So that they don't get run away after they've been paid for school fees. Even governments, when they give you scholarships, they tell you after you finish your studies, you must serve government for some years. I think we have government officers here. They don't just allow that umelipia umeenda ngambo, umeenda huku umesoma, umepata masters, umerudi na PhD, then you just simply disappear to Australia. They will not allow you. So Mheshimiwa, these gentlemen and ladies who are here today, I know there will be a revolving fund that they will form, a bigger thing, so that when you finish your studies, you get a job, you get married, you bring your spouse, and you bring resources back to educate. Because see, you have younger brothers and sisters. See, they still need help in the future. Let us have something for this constituency that is always there, even if Mheshimiwa will now be a governor in the future. Lakini hili ameanzisha, you support it. As publishers, we are willing to donate books to these students. Mheshimiwa. We donate books because I'm glad government officers are here. Sometimes, you know, I like speaking the truth from experience and from research. Today, we are talking about competence-based curriculum. The children in rural Dagoretti today, as I'm talking, in public schools in rural Dagoretti, do not have those books. Do they have? Do they have? They do not have those books, but the books have not reached them. How many years down the line? 2 years of implementation of CBC. Now what is happening is that the children in private schools are already using those books. My own kids are in private school, they are using. If you have a child in private school, you have already bought competence-based curriculum books. Who will account for this 2 years gap when the students finally reach the final exam? That is why public schools will always not perform well, because there is inequality in resources allocation. Though the government has tried to do something, and now books have been procured, I think by the second term, there will be some books in schools. That is one. Number two, if you go to rural Dagoretti today, schools, you will find that the students do not have reference materials. Just simply because the allocation for reference materials has been removed from the capitation of government funds. When I talk about reference materials, I mean storybooks, I mean atlases, I mean dictionaries, I mean kamusis. Very important materials, but which are now not available in our rural schools. Those are gaps that Mheshimiwa, we are willing to work with you to see what we can do. Another area is the area of division. We know that you cannot pass exams by just reading content. You must now put that content into context. And the only way you do that is when you have a lot of revision materials. I'm afraid that the capitation even for that revision material is now no longer being given by the government. And therefore, we want to see a way, because all those materials are available, we want to see a way how we can work with this constituency so that we can start a pilot project. We did it once with Machungu some years back, Mheshimiwa Were. And I can tell you, the change that has occurred in Matungu, even though I think it's no longer the MP, the people of Matungu constituency still know that it is Mheshimiwa that uplifted the living standards of that through education. Today, government is talking of Big Four agenda. Education, is it anywhere? Have you heard of it anywhere? And this is a policy matter, Mheshimiwa. Even to go to Parliament, kindly let us have education cutting across all this development agenda. We are not refusing, but you will not have empowered farmers because agriculture is one of the pillars. How will you have empowered farmers if education is not part of it? How will they use fertilizer? How will they know that irrigation is important even when there are droughts? How will they know about water harvesting? And therefore, education is at the core of each and every pillar. So I want to end by saying, and by making a promise, even without the approval of other senior people in the company, that we will start by donating books worth 50,000 by next week. We are starting from somewhere. Mheshimiwa has made a request that can we donate. And these books we are going to donate will be mostly for college-going students, but also for our younger brothers and sisters who chini. So that Mheshimiwa can just take a school of his choice to go and verify. Maybe I've just come here to lie. Just go and verify and find out, does the government have allocation for books for the CBC, competence-based? You will find that in rural schools, those books are not yet available. And therefore the gap will be seen. Storybooks, allocation is not there. What we have now is stationery and other writing materials. So that donation, I'm bringing it to Mheshimiwa, and once I bring it, we'll take it down to one of the schools of his choice. The books will be majorly competence-based curriculum books. There will be some storybooks for primary schools, and he will donate to a school of his choice as he does his research. So that the gaps that Mheshimiwa will find, we will work together to see what can we do to ensure that that succeeds. Then lastly, when we partner properly, and we decide now, Mheshimiwa will allocate something small, because I can see like, he knows how to allocate. Anajua kubalance. Anasema huyu ni 30. Huyu kwa sababu fee yake ni 35, siwezi mpatia 35. Nimesema 30 lakini wewe chukua 20. That balancing we will also do to ensure that the college-going students, the primary students, the secondary students in this constituency, we work together to see what the company can do and what the constituency can do. I'm donating one last book to Mheshimiwa before I sit down. Again, because you know Mheshimiwa is a politician, this book is called Facing Mount Kenya. He was asking you which books you have read, and everybody was saying that they have only read 6 books. You will learn that for you to be a leader, you must know so much about your people, about your country, and about other countries. This is the biography of who? Nani? Mzee? Mheshimiwa Uhuru Kenyatta. Hii ni hayati Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, the founding father of the nation. Mheshimiwa, I want to also give you this one, so that you remember us for having given you 2 books that you will read, so that you can know what we have been able to do, so that that can be transferred to your people. Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa, for empowering your people. I have today named you Odera Kang.
One more round of clap for Mr. That was inspiring, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. This is what we've been discussing about. It's good that we have this kind of, mix of everything that we can have. If each and every one of us could have the heart of the society, we will have moved from this ridiculous of only thinking how we're going to steal from the park. Yeah? Our best is how much do I steal to be a key to move around. So Uma, thank you. I hope I'll have a couple of minutes with you to discuss a number of issues. books. Yeah. Thank you for the 2 books.